The forest moon of Krylos was not meant for humans. Its trees stood like giants, leaves sharp as blades, and the air carried a constant hum of life and danger. Only the strongest creatures survived here. Among them was Varix, the Huntress. She moved through the jungle like a shadow, silent and sure. Her scales shimmered under the filtered sunlight, and her spear was ready for the kill. She was tracking something large. The footprints were deep, the scent fresh. It had passed just an hour ago. A perfect challenge. Then she heard it. A branch snapped, clean, not broken by claws or paws, but by a boot. She froze, turning sharply, her golden eyes locked onto a figure standing in her path. A human. He looked calm. Dust covered his simple clothes. No weapon in sight, no armor. Just a tall man with brown eyes and a strong jaw. His hair was short and messy. He had a scar above his right eyebrow. Varix's heart beat faster. Not in fear, but confusion. How? Had a human come this deep into the Krylos wilds? They never survived this far from their dropships. She hissed, a low, warning sound, stepping forward and raising her spear. "You won't handle me," she growled in her language, but the translator patch on her shoulder made sure he understood. The man didn't move, didn't speak. He only looked at her. Calm, observing. She tightened her grip. "Step aside, human. You will not stop me." Still nothing. But then, he finally spoke. "I'm not here to stop you. But if you keep going that way, you'll die." Her pupils narrowed. "You think I fear death?" The man tilted his head. "No. But I think you fear being hunted." Her blood went cold. How did he know? She masked the sudden chill with anger. "Who are you?" He didn't answer. Instead, he knelt and ran his fingers through the dirt. "This trail you're following, it's not what you think. That beast isn't alone." Varix took a step closer. "You claim to know the prey I hunt?" "I know more than that." He stood again, meeting her eyes. "I know why you haven't seen the skybirds in 2 days. I know why the trees have gone quiet." Varix's mind raced. He was right. The jungle had changed, but she thought it was just weather or migration. "You're not just a survivor," she said slowly. "You're military." "Used to be," he replied, voice flat. A roar echoed through the trees, deep, loud, and close. Varix's hunter instincts kicked in. She dropped low, searching the trees. The human didn't flinch. The roar came again, louder now. The trees ahead shook, something massive moving fast toward them. She turned to face it, but it was too quick, a blur of movement. Then a massive beast leaped from the shadows, a 6-legged creature with armored skin and rows of teeth. Varix raised her spear to strike, but the beast knocked her off balance. Before it could lunge again, a rock flew through the air, striking its eye with a perfect throw. The creature screamed and turned toward the human. In that moment, Varix moved fast, rolling to her feet and thrusting her spear into the beast's neck. It thrashed, then dropped, motionless. Breathing hard, she looked at the human. He was calm. Again, she didn't like that. "Your throw was precise," she said. "Too precise." "I had practice," he answered simply. "Where did you train?" she demanded. He shook his head. "Another time. You're not safe out here alone. I've hunted alone my whole life." "Then you've been lucky." Varix frowned. She wanted to argue, but deep inside, something in her agreed. This human knew things she didn't. That bothered her. "I don't trust you, human," she said. He nodded. "That's fair, but you might need me." She hissed softly, but didn't raise her weapon again. For now. They stood there, surrounded by trees and the dead beast between them. 2 predators, 2 strangers. Something unspoken passed between them. An understanding. This moon was changing, and so were they. Varix watched the human closely. He moved with quiet confidence, as if the dangers of Krillos were nothing new to him. Her golden eyes narrowed, still unsure if she should trust him. "You say the beast is not alone," she said, her voice sharp. "What do you mean?" The man, Eli Ward, looked toward the dense trees around them. "That creature was just a scout. Something bigger is coming. A hunter far worse than that." Varix felt a chill run down her spine. She was used to being the hunter, not the hunted. Yet this human seemed calm, almost like he expected danger. "Why should I believe you?" she asked. Eli shrugged. "You don't have to. But if you keep following that trail, you'll walk right into the jaws of death." The wind shifted, carrying the scent of something large. Varix inhaled deeply, sensing the forest was holding its breath. The birds were silent. The usual sounds of insects and animals had faded. "Show me," she said, lowering her spear but keeping her guard. Eli nodded and began walking deeper into the jungle. Varix followed, her senses alert. The forest seemed alive and watchings. They moved. Eli spoke. "I was part of a human recon unit. We tracked dangerous creatures on many worlds. We thought we knew what fear was. But Krillos is different." Varix listened, surprised. Humans rarely admitted fear. They were bold, but reckless. "We tracked these apex predators from orbit," Eli continued. "But something changed. They became smarter, faster, and more deadly. We lost contact with the rest of my unit months ago." Varix glanced at him. "You are alone?" "Yes. And I've been hunting the hunters ever since." Suddenly, a rustle came from above. Something moved quickly between the trees. Varix snapped her head up, searching. Eli was calm. He reached into a small pack and pulled out a strange device. A soft blue light glowed from it. Varix tilted her head. "What is that?" "An old tracking tool," Eli said. "It helps me find creatures that hide in shadows." The device beeped, and Eli pointed toward a nearby thicket. "There." Varix crouched, moving silently. She saw the creature then. A large, chameleon-like beast, blending almost perfectly with the leaves. Its eyes scanned the forest floor, hunting. Varix raised her spear, but Eli put a hand on her arm. "Wait," she looked at him surprised. "This creature hunts with sound," Eli whispered. "If you make noise, it will find you." Varix held her breath and watched. The beast moved slowly, careful not to make a sound. Suddenly it stopped and turned, its eyes locked on Varix. She froze. The beast hissed and prepared to attack. Before Varix could move, Eli threw a small ball from his pack. It exploded softly, releasing a cloud of glowing dust. The beast blinked, confused, and charged away into the trees. Varix exhaled slowly. "Why did you help me?" Eli looked at her. "Because this creature will kill us both if we don't work together," she frowned. "I do not work with humans." Eli smiled faintly. "Maybe not, but I've faced worse alone." Varix studied him. There was no fear in his eyes, only experience and a quiet strength she did not expect. The jungle grew darker as clouds covered the sky. A low rumble of thunder echoed in the distance. "Storm coming," Eli said. "We should find shelter." Varix nodded. "Follow me." She led him to a hidden cave she knew well. Inside, the air was cool and dry. Eli sat down and looked around. "You have lived here a long time." Varix crossed her arms. "Long enough to know this place is no longer safe." Eli met her gaze. "Then why hunt alone?" She hesitated. "Because I am strong. Because I trust no one." "Trust is earned," Eli said quietly. They sat in silence as the storm began outside. Raindrops hit the cave's entrance like soft drums. Varix watched Eli closely. His presence was strange, like a shadow that did not belong to this world. "Tell me about your unit," she said finally. Eli sighed. "We were sent to test weapons on this moon, to control the predators. But things went wrong. Some of the weapons escaped control. We became the hunted." Varix's eyes widened. "Weapons?" What kind of weapons? Eli's face darkened. Monsters designed to hunt and kill without mercy. Created by humans, but too dangerous for anyone to control. Varric shook her head. This is madness. Agreed, Eli said. That's why I left. To stop it. She looked at him. You are different from other humans. He smiled sadly. Maybe. Or maybe I just learned the hard way. The cave grew quiet. Outside, the storm raged on. Varric felt a flicker of something new, a feeling she could not name. Was it respect or fear? She did not know. But one thing was clear. Kryllos was no longer a place for lone hunters, and Eli Ward was no ordinary human. The storm had passed by morning, leaving Kryllos' jungle wet and dripping with fresh life. Varric and Eli stepped out of the cave, the sunlight filtering through thick green leaves. The air smelled of earth and rain, but beneath it, a tension lingered. Varric kept her spear ready, eyes sharp. Though Eli saved her life twice, trust was not given easily. We can't stay here long, Eli said, scanning the forest. The predator we saw will be back, and maybe more. Varric nodded. You said you once worked with soldiers like me. Tell me about them. Eli glanced at her. I was part of a special human unit. We trained for survival on many worlds. Our job was to hunt dangerous creatures and gather information. Varric frowned. Then why are you alone? He sighed. Our mission went wrong. Some weapons we tested escaped control. They were supposed to help us, but they became monsters themselves. Varric's eyes narrowed. Monsters made by humans? Eli nodded. Yes, we tried to contain them. Many of my team did not survive. I escaped, but I've been fighting to stop those weapons ever since. Varric studied him carefully. Humans were known for their courage, but also their stubbornness. Could she trust a man who carried such a heavy past? Why did you help me fight the beast? She asked. Eli looked toward the jungle. Because you were brave. Because if you died here, no one would stand a chance. Varric's face softened. Perhaps you are not like other humans I have met. He smiled faintly. Maybe we all have stories. Suddenly, a sharp noise cracked through the trees, a snap of a twig. Both turned quickly, weapons ready. From the bushes, a small group of Kryllos native hunters appeared. They eyed Eli with suspicion. Varric raised her hand. They come from the same village as me. They are cautious of strangers. The leader, a tall, muscular man with scars across his face, stepped forward. Varric, why do you bring a human here? Varric did not answer immediately. This is Eli. He knows what is hunting us. We must decide if he is friend or foe. The IS leader's eyes narrowed. Humans bring trouble. Eli held up his hands calmly. I mean no harm. I want to stop the monsters. The leader grunted. Words are easy. Proof is harder. Varric stepped beside Eli. We face a threat none of us can fight alone. Your skills might save us. The leader hesitated, then nodded slowly. Very well, but one mistake, and you answer to us. Eli bowed his head in agreement. The small group prepared to move deeper into the jungle. Varric and Eli followed, the weight of the new alliance heavy on both. As they walked, Eli shared more about the weapons he mentioned. They are bioengineered predators, he explained. Designed to be perfect hunters, fast, strong, and smart. They can hide, adapt, and kill silently. We thought we could control them. We were wrong. Varric shivered. She had faced dangerous beasts before, but none like this. Have you seen one in person? She asked. Eli nodded. Yes, I've fought a few. Each one is different. They learn from every battle. Varric's grip tightened on her spear. If they are so strong, how do you plan to stop them? We use their weaknesses, Eli said. They hunt with sound and smell. We can trick them. He pulled a small device from his pack, a sphere covered in strange markings. This makes noise and light to confuse them. Varric studied the device, impressed despite herself. Suddenly, the jungle grew quiet again. Too quiet. Varric signaled everyone to stop. A low growl echoed around them, coming from all directions. The predators had found them. Without warning, the bushes exploded with movement. 4 large creatures leaped toward the group, eyes glowing with hunger. Varric and the native hunters raised their weapons, fighting fiercely. Eli stayed calm, throwing his confusion spheres and directing the group. One predator lunged at Varric. She dodged swiftly, stabbing her spear into its side. Another attacked Eli. He caught it by the leg and twisted hard, sending it crashing to the ground. The battle was fierce but short. The predators, confused and hurt, retreated into the trees. Breathing hard, Varric looked at Eli with new respect. "You fight well," she said. Eli smiled. "You're a good teacher." The leader of the native hunters approached, nodding approvingly. "Maybe this human is not a threat," he said. "Maybe he is our chance." Varric felt a small hope rise inside her, but she knew this was only the beginning. The jungle of Krylos held many secrets, and the hunt was far from over. The sun was high in the sky when Varric, Eli, and the native hunters made camp at the edge of a wide clearing. The jungle around them was thick, dark, and full of unseen dangers. Still, for now, they had a moment to rest and plan. Varric sat near the fire, sharpening her spear. She glanced at Eli, who was studying a holographic map projected from a small device. The map showed the areas where the predators had attacked recently, places marked with red dots. "These attacks have increased," Eli said quietly. "They are moving closer to the villages." Varric's jaw tightened. "We must stop them before they reach my people." Eli nodded. "There is something you should know. The creatures hunting Krylos are not natural. They are made by humans, bioengineered weapons." Varric looked shocked. "Weapons? Made to hunt and kill?" "Exactly," Eli said. "Designed to be perfect killers, fast, strong, smart, and very dangerous." Varric stood and paced. "Then who made them, and why?" Eli's face grew dark. "A rogue group in human space. They wanted to create ultimate soldiers, but the project went out of control. These creatures escaped and spread to many worlds, including Krylos." Varric stopped and looked at him. "Then we are all targets." Eli nodded. "Yes, and they hunt using fear. They can sense when their prey is scared." Varric thought of her own fear, the moment she met Eli. When her confident front cracked, she hid that feeling, but it had been real. "We must use that against them," she said. "If they feed on fear, then we must be fearless." Eli smiled faintly. "That is easier said than done." The leader of the native hunters approached, holding a strange weapon made from wood and metal. "I have seen these creatures before," he said. "They change color like the chameleon, and their skin is as hard as rock. They move like ghosts." Varric nodded. "They are not only strong but smart." Eli held up the small sphere he used before. "I have been working on traps that use noise and light to confuse them." He placed several traps around the camp. The hunters watched carefully. Suddenly the ground trembled. The air grew cold. From the trees, a figure appeared, tall, muscular, and moving silently. Varric raised her spear. The figure stepped into the light. It was an alien in dark armor, his eyes cold and hard. "I have been looking for you," the stranger said. Eli's face tightened. "You're not with the hunters." The stranger smiled cruelly. "No. I am here to take back what belongs to my people." Varric stepped forward. "Who are you?" The alien looked at her with disgust. "I am Commander Zalkith of the Dominion. Your presence here is a threat." Eli growled. "Your creatures are killing innocent lives." Zalkith laughed. "They are tools of war, and Krylos is a battlefield." Varric's eyes burned with anger. "We will not let you destroy this moon." The commander sneered. "Then you will die trying." He turned and vanished into the jungle. The camp fell silent. Eli said, "He is the one who unleashed the predators here." Varric clenched her fists. "We must stop him, but first we prepare." The hunters began gathering weapons and supplies. Eli worked on improving his traps. That night, Varric sat beside the fire, thinking of the battle ahead. She realized that her skills alone would not be enough. She needed Eli, and maybe, even the humans. Fear no longer burned in her eyes. Instead, a fierce determination grew. Tomorrow they would face the enemy, and together, they would fight. The jungle was quiet as the first light of dawn broke through the thick canopy. Varric and Eli sat across from each other near the campfire, the rest of the native hunters busy preparing for the day's mission. The tension in the air was heavy. Both knew this fight would not be easy. Varric looked at Eli, her golden eyes, searching. She wanted to understand him better. He had saved her life, stood by her side against deadly beasts, yet there was something he kept hidden. "Tell me the truth," Varric said softly. "Who are you, really?" Eli's gaze dropped to the fire. After a long moment, he spoke. "I was once part of a human unit sent to Krylos," he began. "We were not just soldiers. We were scientists and warriors combined. Our mission was to test new weapons designed to be perfect hunters." Varric listened carefully, feeling a mixture of shock and sadness. "We created creatures, like the ones hunting this jungle," Eli continued. "At first we thought we could control them, but the weapons were too strong, too smart. They escaped, killing anyone in their path." He paused, eyes clouded with pain. "I tried to stop it. I left my team behind. I ran from what we made." Varric felt a pang of sympathy. The man carried a heavy burden, a guilt that weighed on his soul. "Why did you save me?" she asked. Eli looked up, meeting her eyes. "Because I owe you. And because I hope to make things right." Varric nodded slowly. "You are not the man I first thought." He smiled sadly. "Maybe not, but I am trying to be better." The sun rose higher, warming the camp. Varric stood and stretched. "We must focus on what is ahead," Eli agreed. "Tomorrow we strike at the heart of the predator's lair." The native leader approached, holding a detailed map. "This is where the creatures gather. It is a cave deep in the mountains." Varric traced the path with her finger. "A dangerous journey." Eli packed his gear. "We will need every advantage we have." As night fell, Varric found herself thinking about Eli's story. She understood his fear, but also his courage. She saw not a broken man, but a warrior fighting his own battle. The next day, the group moved carefully through the jungle. Every sound made them stop. Every shadow made them look twice. At the base of the mountain, the air was colder. The ground was rocky and uneven. Varric led the way, spear ready. Eli followed, placing traps and sensors along the path. Suddenly, a roar echoed from above. The predators were alert. Varric signaled the group to hide. They watched as several large creatures moved near the entrance of the cave. Eli whispered, "Now is our chance." With precision, the group launched their attack. Traps exploded in flashes of light and sound, confusing the beasts. Varric charged forward, spear striking true. Eli moved quickly, setting more traps and directing the hunters. The battle was fierce, but the predators began to fall. Then from the shadows a new figure appeared. Commander Zalkith, the Dominion leader, stood tall, watching the fight. "You cannot win," he said coldly. Varric stepped forward. "We fight for our home." Zalkith sneered. "This world will belong to the strong." Eli raised his voice. "Your strength comes from fear, but we are not afraid." Zalkith's eyes narrowed. Suddenly, he lunged toward Eli. Varric acted quickly, throwing her spear and striking the commander's arm. He snarled and retreated, disappearing into the darkness. The predators scattered. The group was victorious, but the battle was not over. Varric turned to Eli. "Your past may haunt you, but your courage inspires us." Eli smiled. "Together, we are stronger." The jungle was still dangerous, but now there was hope. The huntress and the human were no longer enemies, they were allies, and they would fight for Krylos, side by side. The jungle was alive with tension. Varix and Eli, along with the native hunters, prepared for the final hunt. The apex predator, the most dangerous of all, was nearby. It was larger, faster, and smarter than anything they had faced before. Eli checked his traps one last time. "These will slow it down," he said. "But we must be ready to fight." Varix nodded, gripping her spear tightly. "I will not let it kill my people." The group moved quietly through the trees. Every sound was a warning. Every shadow could hide the predator. Suddenly the ground trembled. The great beast appeared, stepping out from the darkness. Its skin changed color to match the leaves, but its glowing eyes gave it away. Varix raised her spear, and Eli readied a device that sent pulses of light and sound. The predator roared, charging toward them. Varix leapt forward, striking with precision. The beast dodged but was slowed by the trap set earlier. Eli threw another device, creating a flash that blinded the creature momentarily. The battle was fierce. The predator was strong and clever, but Varix and Eli fought as one. Suddenly, the beast lunged at Eli. He fell, wounded. Varix's heart pounded. She rushed to his side, helping him to stand. "You must live," she said fiercely. "We finish this together." Eli nodded, pain in his eyes but determination in his voice. They circled the predator, watching for its next move. Varix remembered a move Eli had used earlier, a swift strike aimed at the creature's weak spot near the eyes. She waited for the moment. The predator attacked again. Varix dodged, then threw her spear straight and true. The spear pierced the creature's eye, and it let out a terrible cry. The beast staggered, then collapsed. The jungle fell silent. Varix and Eli stood together, breathing hard. "We did it," Eli said. Varix smiled, her golden eyes shining. Together, the native hunters came forward, nodding with respect. Varix looked at Eli. "You have changed my view of humans." Eli smiled softly. "And you have shown me the strength of Krylos." As the sun set, the group made their way back to the village. Varix carried Eli's pack, and he helped her when she stumbled. They were no longer just huntress and human. They were partners, friends, and maybe something more. The village of Varix's people was alive with celebration. The hunters returned victorious, bringing news of the fallen apex predator. The people had feared the beasts for too long, but now hope filled the air. Varix walked beside Eli as the villagers gathered to welcome them. She looked at him with a new respect and something softer, an unspoken connection born from shared struggle. The leader of the hunters approached, nodding toward Eli. "You saved many lives today. Your courage is welcome here." Eli smiled humbly. "I only did what was right." Varix spoke to the crowd. "We face many dangers still, but united we can protect our home." The villagers cheered. Later, as the celebration quieted, Varix and Eli sat beneath the stars. The moonlight bathed the forest in silver, and a gentle breeze whispered through the leaves. Varix broke the silence. "I once thought I could face everything alone, but you showed me the strength of partnership." Eli looked at her. "I learned that even the strongest need allies." They shared a quiet smile. Suddenly, a soft sound came from the trees. A small creature, curious and unafraid, stepped into the clearing. Varix reached out her hand slowly. The creature sniffed her fingers and blinked its large eyes. Eli chuckled. "The jungle is alive in many ways." Varix nodded. "And so are we." She turned to Eli. "What will you do now?" Eli looked toward the horizon. "I will stay for a while, help rebuild what was lost." Varix smiled. "Then you are truly one of us." Their eyes met, and for the first time, neither spoke of fear or war. Instead, they shared hope. The huntress and the human, once strangers, now bound by fate. Together, they would face the future, whatever it might bring.